Irene, are you there? I was just wondering what time you think you're going to be coming today. Please get back to me when you see this message.
I think I'm probably going to be out of the house for another 2 hours or so. Why do you ask, Nima? Is there something that you need from me?
Well, I was just wondering if you wouldn't mind picking up a couple of the boxes of that tea that I like so much. You know the one, right?
Yeah, I think I know what kind you're talking about. I can do that for you, no problem.
But I also just have one more question for you. Do you really need to have a job where you have to leave the house to go and do it? I mean, I think things would be much better off if you found a job that you could do while you were still at home, don't you think?
I know that you really want me to be at home more often, but I just can't concentrate on my work if I'm there all day. It's a lot easier for me to focus on my work and develop a good pace if I'm doing what I need to do outside of the house.
Well, I understand your feelings on the matter, but you need to stop being selfish about all this. I mean, when you're out of the house, the only way that I can get a hold of you is by texting you for every little thing that I need.
Well, I'm really sorry that texting me is such a difficult thing for you to do. But I think it's fair to say that I also do my best to help you with anything you need while I'm at home, and I run plenty of errands for you while I'm out too.
But it isn't the same. How am I supposed to know that you're really listening to what I'm trying to tell you if you aren't home? Oh, right, that actually reminds. I have more things that I needed to ask you about. Are you keeping in contact with my daughter Sarah at all?
Sarah? No, we don't actually chat all that often, to be honest with you.
Oh, really? You two don't keep in touch at all? I wonder what that girl could be up to.
Did something happen? Are you worried about her for some reason or something like that?
Well, it's just that she got married and then ran off to go live with her husband and his parents right away. But have you ever met in-laws? The mother especially seems like a really strict woman, and I just hope that Sarah isn't letting herself be bullied by her is all.
Oh, I see. Well, I understand why you would be nervous, but I think it'll be okay. After all, I moved in with you all right after Andrew and I got married.
Oh, well, let's not get carried away and pretend that you were anything like my little girl at all. I mean, you're clearly more crafty and willing to try to get out of the work that you should be doing. But my little Sarah isn't so conniving, and she might really be letting herself get taken advantage of. I just worry that she is going to let her mother-in-law boss her around and do whatever she tells her to.
Well, I do think Sarah is a really nice girl. She probably just wants to please those around her.
That's what I'm saying. But since she is like that, I think that she should have asked to not live with her husband's parents in the first place.
Well, those may be your feelings, but I guess until Sarah herself comes out and says something about not liking the situation, all we can do is watch and hope she's okay. But I am sure that she's going to be just fine. She's a clever girl, and if she was in a bad spot, she would say something.
You really think so? You know, I think that you're being a little insensitive to my worries here.
I'm really sorry that you feel that way. I'm really not trying to be cold towards you or anything like that at all.
I just thought that you would be a bit more nervous like I am about Sarah since you're basically in the same shoes as her. You really are a selfish person, you know that? You really ought to think about other people before yourself. I just don't think that she is going to be able to always find excuses on how to avoid doing the things her mother-in-law asks her to do like you do.
Okay, well then, if you're so nervous about how your daughter is doing, why don't you go and try calling her yourself?
I tried asking her once, and she told me that she was just fine. I didn't want to press the matter anymore because I didn't want her to get upset with me.
Well, if Sarah is telling you that she's okay, then maybe you should just trust that she is. I really don't see what the big deal is. I get that you're upset because she's moved away, but this was always going to happen. And if she says she's okay, then I think that's that.
I just can't deal with you anymore. You really don't know anything at all, do you? I'm not trying to tell her what to do, but I just thought that I could come to you with my problems. Of course, I should have known that someone like you would never even try to understand or sympathize with a poor old lady like me. Even though I'm your mother-in-law, you're really going to act like it's such a chore having me to talk to about this?
I'm really, really sorry that you feel that way, Nima, but it seems like there's very little that I can do about that.
I mean, I might be able to stand you a bit more if you did something useful for once, like give me a grandchild. But you can't even do that for me. Irene, are you there? Just how long are you going to be staying out tonight, huh? I mean, do you have any idea at all what time it is right now? It's 7 p.m. and you're still not home. What's the matter with you?
Nima, look, I told you already that I was going to be a little late coming home tonight. I had a dinner that I had to go to as part of work, and that took a little time after I normally got off.
I know very well that you told me you were going to be a little late. But I didn't think that you were going to be out until the deep depths of the night like this.
Nima, it's literally only 7 at night right now. The sun has barely even set.
You mean it's already 7 at night and it's pitch black outside? I can't believe that a married woman like you is out roaming the streets at night like this. I mean, your husband is already home, so why aren't you? How dare you make my poor little Andrew make dinner all by himself?
I think that my husband is an adult who knows very well how to provide for himself, actually.
That isn't the point that I'm trying to get at right now. What I'm trying to say is that my poor son spends all day at work, and when he comes back home, you still expect him to do work around the house, too. Don't you realize that that's what a good wife should be doing for her husband and not the other way around?
Nima, we have been over this again and again. I am also working, remember? I might not go to work in an office or anything like Andrew does, but I have my own business that I use to contribute to the family.
Well, you need to quit that job. It is obviously distracting you from your more important wifely duties. Besides, my son makes enough to take care of all of us. It's not like he even needs your income.
That isn't why I'm working. Even if Andrew does make enough money to care for us, the money I make goes into our retirement account. We're also putting a little aside for when we have kids, so that they can have something to look forward to when they're adults.
Oh, please. You're already in your 30s, and you don't have a single kid. Are you really telling me that you're still planning on having some?
That's right. Andrew and I have talked about this, and we both agreed that we wanted children.
You're really serious about this, aren't you? Don't you realize that it's going to be impossible for you to have any kids of your own? Your body just won't be able to take it. It's obvious that the reason you feel the need to work so much is because you can't have any children.
Nima, I really appreciate your input into this, but this is something that Andrew and I have decided between ourselves, okay?
Now look, I understand that the two of you are probably going to want kids pretty soon here. But just how do you think you're going to raise any children if you can't even take care of the house right now? You also have a long way to go before your cooking is at the level that it should be to be a good wife. And you always wait such a long time before you clean up the house. Do you really think that you're going to be able to do all that it takes to raise a child when you can't take care of your own house?
Okay then, your point is very much taken, Nima. I will make sure to be more diligent about keeping the house clean from now on.
How dare you try and tell me that while you're out doing who knows what this late at night?
I'm not doing anything that my husband wouldn't approve of. I told you that I have to have dinner as part of a work thing, and that's all.
Irene, you still don't seem to understand. The most important job that a woman can do is making sure that matters in her house are always taken care of. If you can't do that first, then I don't think that you should be working in the first place. It's clear that you want to cling on to this job so that you can run away from your true responsibilities and leave my son to clean up after you. Isn't that right?
It really isn't right at all. I mean, you're not even close to being right.
I've had just about enough out of you. All you do is talk, 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 but your actions reveal the kind of person that you truly are. Here I thought having you come to live with us would make things easier on me, but all it's done is stress me out having to look after you.
Well, if you're really so against us living together, maybe we should just call this whole thing off and Andrew and I will go find our own place.
Wait, what? Are you kidding me? You didn't really just suggest that, did you?
I mean, you said it yourself. Having me live with you is just adding more stress into your life. If that's really the case, then I think it might be best if we just don't live with you at all.
I never, ever said that I wanted you to move out or that I wanted to stop living with you both. I'm just trying to teach you how to be a more responsible adult. But it's obvious that you want to move out, so why don't you just go if that's what you really want to do?
Are you sure about that, Nima?
Are you saying that you're really going to move out?
I am saying that if this is the way things are gonna be, I might just have to have a chat with Andrew about this. Anyways, my client just showed up, so I have to go now.
Oh, sure. Your client, huh? Well, I hope you have a nice dinner while your husband and mother-in-law have to fend for themselves at home. But just know that you're never going to find another man as good as my son.
Hey, Irene, are you there? I'm really sorry to be bothering you at work, but I was just hoping that you had a moment to chat about something with me really quick.
Oh, hey Sarah, it's been a while since I've heard from you. Yeah, I can talk right now. How's it going? Is everything okay with you?
Well, I just kind of wanted to talk to you about something. Maybe I really just need someone to complain to now that I think about it. But I was hoping that we could keep this just between us and not tell my mom about it.
Yeah, of course, I understand. Whatever you want to tell me can just be our little secret, okay?
Thank you so much for understanding, and I'm sorry to be so furtive about this. But the fact of the matter is that, well, my mom can just be so annoying.
Well, I know that it can seem that way, but I'm sure that your mom is just the way she is because she's so worried about you. But is that all you wanted to talk about? Did something happen between the two of you that upset you or something?
The real truth is that I'm thinking of getting a divorce.
Wait, really? You want to get a divorce? What happened? Is everything all right?
I wouldn't say everything is all right, but it's not something I want to get done right away either. I keep thinking about it over and over again.
Did something happen between you and your husband to make you feel this way? I know that you've been living with him and his parents, but is that not going well?
It isn't going well at all. You might not believe me, but my mother-in-law is just a demanding bully, and she's always telling me what to do. I really just can't stand her anymore. Even just hearing her voice sends a chill up my spine now. But I really don't think that she likes me at all, and I just feel so judged and underappreciated. It just has much less to do with my husband and way more to do with his mother. But I really am thinking about ending this and just coming back home.
Oh, Sarah, I am so sorry that you're going through all of this. That must be really hard on you to be struggling with those thoughts.
It's really not fun, I'll say that much. I'm sorry to be dumping all of this on you like this, though. But the latest incident was that my mother-in-law got really mad at me just because I'm working? She told me that I needed to be focusing more on taking care of the house and worry less about money.
I know what it's like to be told that, don't worry. It really doesn't feel good at all. In fact, if I'm being honest, I can sympathize with you a lot because your mom does the same thing to me. I've been getting pretty fed up with her as well.
Wait, what? My mom is doing the exact same thing to you as well? I had no idea that you were going through any of this like I was.
Well, it's true. Just reading what you've typed has reminded me of the kind of situation that I'm in now, too. I'm sorry, I really didn't mean to take away from your story, but I'm just starting to feel like I'm reaching my limits with your mom.
I see. Does that mean that you're thinking of divorcing Andrew over our mom, then? Doesn't he do anything to stand up for you and try and tell our mom to back off?
He doesn't do anything, really. But I don't blame him for that. Your mom is very strategic about when she chooses to say mean things to me. She almost never does in front of Andrew, so I never have any proof that I can point to.
I guess I never got that sense when I visited you all before as well.
It's okay, I'm not asking anyone to believe me flat out. But I do just wish that I could feel like I was good enough for your mother. Although at this rate, I think that my patience with this whole thing is going to give out before that ever happens.
I know exactly what you mean! It's so hard to talk about these things without feeling that you're the one who isn't doing enough. I mean, I bet just trying to explain this to my husband would really shock him, and then it would just lead to a big fight between everyone.
Exactly. And I really don't want to get in the way between you all and your mom, or be the source of drama. I just want everyone to get along. That's what I was hoping would happen when I moved in.
Irene, I am so sorry that you've been having to go through this. And for basically a whole year at this point, right? But I am glad that I know I'm not alone in this anymore. I guess it's made me realize that I've been just thinking about myself in all of this.
Well, I feel the same way. I was so busy focusing on just dealing with your mom that I never stopped to think about how you might be doing. But it's just been so much to deal with lately, and I really am at my wit's end.
So then, do you have any idea what it is that you think you're going to do about my mom?
I really just don't think I can live with her any longer. I think I need to tell my husband and your mom about this, though.
Well, if you want, I would be more than happy to be there when you had that talk with them.
Are you sure about that? I really wouldn't want to get you in trouble with your own family or anything like that.
I actually think I just thought of something that could work.
Really? You have a plan? What are you thinking? I'd love to hear it.
I'll tell you all about it, but I just hope that you don't mind if I ask you for help for parts of it.
Irene, I just wanted to talk to you about what we all discussed yesterday. Are you really going to be moving out of the house? Are you sure that that's what you want to do?
Yes, Nima, I'm very sure that this is going to be what is best for us all. And I've talked to Andrew about it as well, and he agrees with me. I just can't see the point of staying in this house any longer, and I think it's wearing all of us down.
But please, won't you rethink this decision of yours? I mean, both Andrew and Sarah said such mean things to me yesterday. I already apologized if I was being a bit strict about things with you, and I really didn't mean to make you feel like you were being bullied.
I realize that, but what you did was much deeper than advice being pushed too far. You were careful about what you said and when you said it. You made sure to never be mean to me in front of Andrew, and you did your best to leave me with no evidence of what you were doing.
I really didn't even realize that that's what I was doing. I swear it.
Even if that were true, the fact of the matter is that you said that living with me brings you nothing but stress, remember? So I think if that's the case, then me moving out is going to be what's best for us both.
But if you and Andrew both move out, then I'm going to be living all by myself.
Well, were you already living on your own before Andrew and I were married in the first place? Even Sarah and her husband were living on their own before they got married and moved in with his parents.
But that was back when I was so much younger than I am now. Haven't you seen the news? Don't you know how often it is that old people's noses get targeted for robbery? I've seen countless articles about it.
I'm sorry, but even if somebody did break in, I still wouldn't feel any obligation to protect you at all. If you're really that worried about home security, though, there are plenty of alarm services that you can have installed instead.
Irene, please, you have to rethink this. I really am sorry for the way that I acted towards you. I promise that I won't ever treat you that way again. You have to believe me, please.
Nima, you should know that there's something that Sarah asked me to do.
Sarah asked you to do something? What is it? Does it have anything to do with what we're talking about right now?
She wanted me to tell you this, so here goes. She wanted you to know that she is also being bullied by her own mother-in-law at her husband's house.
Wait, what? You mean my own daughter is being bullied by her mother-in-law?
That's right. It's actually gotten so bad for her that she's thinking of divorcing her husband just to get out of the situation.
I knew it. I knew this whole time that her mother-in-law was a no-good strict woman. You can just tell by looking at her face. Well, if that's the case, then I think that Sarah should get a divorce. I refuse to accept that this is happening to my daughter.
So, you think that Sarah should leave her husband for the way that her mother-in-law treats her?
Of course I do. That's the only logical move for her to make at this point.
But you do realize that you're doing the exact same thing to me, don't you? So, what do you think that should mean for Andrew and I wonder?
Well, I mean, I'm different. I didn't know that I was actually being so mean to you, you see. So, I don't think you can really compare the two situations.
I see. But I talked to Sarah about our situations and we realized that we actually had a lot in common.
So then what are you saying? Are you trying to tell me that you're thinking about leaving Andrew too?
Actually, that's not all that I had to say to you. Sarah also wanted me to let you know that I guess for the past few days, her mother-in-law has stopped being so strict with her.
So then, her mother-in-law stopped bullying her. Is that what you're telling me?
That's right. I guess that she talked to her husband and mother-in-law about what I was doing. She mentioned that I would be moving out because I couldn't stand living with you anymore, and since then, Sarah's mother-in-law has seemed to calm down. So I guess she wanted to keep Sarah in the house and agreed to quit being so mean to her.
So then, does this mean that Sarah actually isn't going to be getting divorced after all?
That's right. I mean, they've only been living together for something like 3 months. I think that Sarah is going to give her mother-in-law a second chance after this and see how things go.
I see. But then, if Sarah was able to give her mother-in-law a chance, then surely that must mean that you can give me a chance, right?
I'm sorry, but I'm afraid this is where Sarah and I's situation is different. I've already lived with you for a whole year, and I never once got the sense that you were going to stop without this intervention. But I've spent so long living like this that I just don't want to subject myself to you anymore.
Please, Irene, I'm so sorry about everything that I did. I didn't want things to go this way.
I'm afraid that it's far too late for you to be apologizing to me now. It's been too long, and you can't just whisk away all that you've done with words.
But you're always smiling and look so happy. How was I supposed to know that I was upsetting you?
I already explained to you that I was being very patient and magnanimous towards you. I thought that if I just stayed positive, that things would change and that you and I could have gotten along.
But what about now? Don't you want to try and get along with each other now? I don't care if you go out and work. I'll do more to take care of the house. Just please don't leave me.
I told you that it's too late. I'm not going to be changing my mind. Now, please, just accept that this is happening, Nima. A few weeks later, Andrew and I began looking for new apartments, and before long, we were moved out. Andrew was also very apologetic to me about not realizing what was going on sooner. He told me that he had noticed he would have suggested moving out himself. Either way, he understood that I just couldn't live there any longer. I told him that I really didn't want to say anything and that I didn't want to cause a fight within his family. He greatly appreciated my concern and told me that now it was his turn to take care of me. So, in the end, Nima ended up living all on her own. She began to text me incessantly, and I would just tell her that she did this to herself and that she wasn't helping her cause by texting me like this. As for Sarah, we're keeping in touch more often, having realized that we were going through the same ordeal. I heard from her, however, that things are going much better and that her mother-in-law is much kinder to her now.